Peter.
Klaus.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm very glad that I have the possibility to interview you right now. We know each other since 1999. I met you first time, and someone said, if you want to meet and learn from a real good man, then go to Peter Erikson, Dr. Peter Erikson. And I thought, okay, I will do it. It was just intuition, and I was driving to Berlin to meet you up there. And then I organized seminars with you in Munich. And in the beginning I translated the seminars, and we developed the manuals and a lot of things. And now I'm here to ask you some questions. We'll see where we get to. What is nice? Nice is nice, but it has something to do with the nervous system. Maybe you can find some words for this.
Well, basically, bottom line, it's just a way of working on the body to get things back to normal. And it's through the nervous system that we work. But then I have to put a little question mark. Is it just the nervous system, or is there something else?
What could it be?
Well, that's a good question. When I look at some of the other systems in the body, it's like you have more than one communication system. And it's like we're working with all the communication systems, not just the nervous system. Like you look at the body's fascia, it's like, oh my God, you could get lost there pretty easily. That's like a communication system or a sub-communication system. You look at the endocrine system, that's another sub-communication system. And it's like, how many sub-communication systems do we have?
Is the energy system, like the meridians, a communication system as well in this context?
That's all part of it too. My feeling is that the meridian system and all these energetic systems are very, very linked with the fascial system.
And what is your idea if you say to get it back to normal? What is normal and what is not normal?
Well, okay, to normal functioning, that's actually a good question. I reached the point now where I really don't know what normal is. But when the body goes into fight, flight, for example, you might have to fight or run. And after the incident passes, everything has to settle back to normal functioning. So you don't have to run, you don't have to fight. Okay. When you have something to eat, like you eat and the body has to digest the food. And after digesting the food, there's a process of absorption and assimilation. And after the body goes through all that, it's like the gut goes back to normal again, waiting for the next lot of food. So you can take all the kind of usual things we do in life, where there's some kind of action or relaxation, action, relaxation. And when that can happen appropriately, I probably would sort of really look at that as being more normal function.
From your insights, how would you explain, it could be interesting for the viewers, what would you say about fight and flight if you use a bit more words or ideas? What is it, fight and flight, in the nervous system and the other systems?
Well, certain things happen in fight-flight. For example, it's like the body's not really interested in what it had for breakfast that morning.
If you're in fight and flight, yeah.
It's like staying alive is the main priority, not digesting like the last meal you had, or preparing a cut or something like that. The body's not really interested in that. It wants to stay alive.
So food digestion, repairing mechanism.
Yeah.
What other mechanisms drop down?
Well, in fight-flight, reproductive activity or impulses get shut down quite a bit as well. It's like basically just about everything unnecessary gets shut down.
In a way, the immune system as well?
Yes, immune system.
So could it be an idea that so many people have some problems with any kind of immune system problems, or digestive problems, or reproduction problems, because they're stuck in fight and flight?
Yes. Yeah. It's just an opinion, but in our culture these days, when I say our culture, Western culture, most people in some way, shape or form are stuck in fight-flight. Maybe not in a gross way, but in a subtle way. Most people are stuck in fight-flight. And I was surprised a few years ago when I looked at a lot of the supplements that were coming out from many companies. Most of them were involving the adrenals in some way, shape or form. And the adrenals are one of the main organs that get a good thrashing when the body goes into fight-flight. So if you can take someone out of fight-flight, you allow the other systems to come back online. It's like someone could have a lot of allergies. Take the body out of fight-flight, get the immune system back online nicely. It's not magically going to fix all allergies, but so many allergies just clear up and disappear when you take the body out of fight-flight, and you get the.
Excuse me. We had this in so many classes that while you're working with people or students training with each other, they kind of lost their allergies or a lot of them. Not really working on those.
Yeah.
Because
just a coincidence. Just a coincidence.
Just a coincidence. Okay.
I had one girl here recently. I don't know how many allergies she had, but after we got the immune system back online, she went out and she must have tried everything that she knew she was allergic to. No problems.
Mm-hmm. What was your way to kinesiology or to nice work or to the body work, the sacro-occipital work and cranial, whatever? So what is your history?
My history?
In a way.
Okay. Well, I started off doing the chiropractic and osteopathic course, but I knew there was something else there. So I started looking, and like many chiropractors wanting to look at more of the subtleties in the body there, they tended to look at sacro-occipital technique and apply kinesiology. And along the way, I came across Carl Ferreri. And when I first saw him, he started speaking, I thought, another American. But by lunchtime, I was just really sucked into the NOT framework that he'd put together. And his orientation was basically looking at survival. Feeding, fight, flight, reproduction, immune function. But my feeling is that when you look at the survival systems, there's just a little bit more there than just those systems there. It's like when you look at respiration, for example. How many levels does respiration take place in the body? You've got the lungs and the heart respiration there. You've got the craniosacral respiratory system. On the cellular level, you've got respiration taking place, different tissue, the organs. It's like,
nearly
my
everywhere.
God, it's like, where isn't respiration taking place?
Okay.
So everything breathes. And it's like our whole body breathes. And it breathes in a way to connect us with life and the universe. Is a little bit more my orientation, not just the 4 basic survival systems. It's like finding our way or our part.
I'm coming back to this larger picture of nice, if you're talking about the universe or evolution. But back to your story, you met Carl and you met NOT and...
Carl, NOT, and I was sucked in right from the beginning, and I kept at it and at it. In Australia, when I started, there was no one that I could go to ask for help. I had to wait till Carl came out the next time. So when Carl came out the next time and he demonstrated some of these things, it's like, oh, that's where that spot is. Oh, that's how you do that. And over the years, I finally cleared everything up. And it's like, I didn't realise there was an emotional correction in the NOT work for 2 years. And there was. Just got mixed in with something else, and I just got so confused. The first time Carl came to Australia, like he presented everything in the NOT work in 5 days, like no hands-on. And it's like, my head was more than just full. It was...
I met Carl in the same way, 5 days, everything packed in.
Yeah.
And then this guy, Ottmar, said, go to Peter, if you really want to go to the next level. And so you developed the next level or a new system or your ideas or...
What happened, essentially, as I discovered things here and there, I told Carl about them, and some of them things found their way into the basic NOT work, which there was no acknowledgement given. But then again, Carl didn't give acknowledgement to anyone that had contributed to the NOT work. It wasn't just me, it's like everyone missed out. And at one point, there was, I don't know, things being said behind the scenes, both here in Germany and in Australia. And I thought, I didn't want to be part of that. They can all talk and bitch amongst themselves. I just leave everyone to that. And essentially the nice work really has started out with the NOT system, plus all the extra things that I'd found and discovered over the years. And it was quite substantial over a period of time. And some of my students commented to me that my work really doesn't bear any resemblance to the NOT work. So there was enough there that was substantially different to warrant a different name. But that's essentially what happened with Carl. He was originally doing applied kinesiology, and he was originally doing what he thought was the appropriate thing in applied kinesiology. And then he realised after a little while that what he was doing was a little bit different. And someone coined the term neural organisation technique, NOT. And Carl thought, I like this, I'm going to keep the name. Anyway, it wasn't exactly the same for me, but it was very similar. The nice work was just the NOT work with all the extra bits and pieces that I'd found. Like, for example, I discovered that there were some extra corrections you needed for the occiput and the sphenoid. Sometimes Carl, just trying to think of a nice way of saying it, he was a bit of a bugger sometimes. Like he'd do some of these extra things and he'd say, oh, don't worry about these things. And he'd do some little extra chiropractic-y things. And no one knew what he was doing. And thought, okay. Anyway, with the nice work, I did not want that to happen. I didn't want to be doing any extra chiropractic-y or osteopathic type things. I wanted everything that I did to be included in the nice work. That's why I had to put a few extra corrections in for the occiput and the sphenoid.
Okay. You have a very structural way to work with the body.
Yes.
But there are emotional components.
Yes.
There are vibrational components.
Yes.
There are components about the biochemistry.
Yeah.
How did you bring these things, or found that these things could be important to get the body in line?
Okay. Years ago, when I was in my early stages of the NOT work, the first correction in the NOT work was for the atlas. Mm-hmm. Heel tension and atlas.
Here and there. Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't correct this patient's atlas. And I was trying everything I could think of. And there's nothing in the NOT work to help me. And at one point, the patient said to me, she felt a bit uncomfortable with me doing something I was trying. And I asked her why. And she said, oh, it reminded me of when my husband tried to strangle me. And I thought, an emotional stress there. So I cleared that as best as I knew at the time. And the atlas cleared nicely. And I could go on doing the structural work. And ever since then, it doesn't happen very often, but just occasionally you need to do an emotional correction before you get underway with the body structure.
But it can come up at any stage in the protocol.
Anytime. And
maybe it could be useful for the viewers to know that NICE in the beginning is a one step after the other system. The body goes in fight-flight in a special mechanism, and it's not creative, go here and there to get it out. You make the first step, then the second is showing. After you correct this, the third one is showing. So you go step by step.
That's very systematic, like when it comes to fight-flight. And must be done in a very specific order. Mm-hmm. You can't just go here and then it's like, oh, I don't feel like doing this correction today, I want to do that one there. It doesn't work. Okay. Now, an emotional correction can come up at any time. A vibrational stress or the need for a remedy can come up at any time. So even though the whole of the NICE work or the basic work is very structured, one thing after another, at any time something could upset that process of unlocking the body structure. You might have to do an emotional stress, you might have to give some remedies or a nutrient, something nutritional. Sometimes there could be sugar disturbances which commonly can come up, and that can throw a bit of a spanner in the works. So it's helpful sometimes to be able to have something that you can give someone to help settle the blood sugar levels down a little bit.
Maybe just a little comment. In Germany and some other countries, it could be interesting that NICE is not a therapeutic system. You can use it as well in the pedagogic, in the coaching, and the social context to teach the system a new way of behavior.
Yeah, you can.
It's kind of energetic, just for the viewers to know.
Yeah, it can be used in that context. Yes. Yeah. Now,
or in other words, you do not have to be a doctor or a Heilpraktiker to use the NICE work in your clinic.
Yeah. I'm just thinking with regard to social type things. I've done this with a few athletes and musicians and dancers. You start going through the NICE work and it's like there's an improvement in the performer's ability, whether it be athletics or some kind of sport, dancing. With the musicians, like I get them, to play the hardest passages they know, or something that's giving them a lot of trouble, and they play it as best they can. Then I do some of the NICE work. Then I ask them to go back and play again. And it's like you hear a big difference. And there's one pair of dancers. I just worked on the husband once with this pair of dancers. And they did a very beautiful job, dancing on the floor. And just after starting to go through some of the nice work, you could hear a big difference in the husband's steps. It's like they were totally silent. You couldn't hear the steps. Mm-hmm. Whereas before he was dancing around and it sounded like an elephant, just about.
I had one of my first clients. He was a world-class alpine skier.
Okay.
And slalom and things like this. And I made only the first session, taking his body out of fight and flight, and it was more straight and not in the gate, and so he could go this way and that way much easier. And he was really, he was 2 seconds faster. In this class, it's 2 seconds, and he could not imagine what happened. The body has a very deep intelligence, how it could work.
Yeah. Actually, when you look at it, one of the components of survival, essentially, is movement. If you can get better control of movement, you can oftentimes do things more efficiently, quickly.
In a way, it's easy. From the way of thinking. Yes, and so you developed your NICE system with the new components and some things which changed other things as well in the protocol?
Yes and no. Some things still remain fixed, but by the same token, something that was fixed might have more involved or more involvement now. Something that many people don't take into consideration very much when they're working on the body is time and movement. And if you can get more happening in these areas where there's a greater degree of control, much more becomes possible for the person.
In a way, if you talk about emotional stress, you address very specific topics like the identity, the name, or things, and maybe it sounds a bit unusual for some viewers, coming soul into the body, or the cutting of the
umbilical cord.
Yeah, umbilical. So no one usually would think of those traumas.
Yeah, these are actually universal processes which we all go through. I like to think in terms of universal principles wherever I can. And it's like, if you come into this world, at some point you must have had the umbilical cord cut. You don't just get beamed into the world, mature, without connection via the belly or the cord there. But sometimes I wish it would be possible if we could just get beamed in, carry out our mission, and then get beamed back. But it doesn't work like that. You've got to go through the process down the birth canal, and that's a wild, crazy ride, that. And you come into this world and it's like, what? You expect me to breathe on my own? It's like, I didn't have to worry about breathing while I was inside there, and now you want me to breathe? Not fair. I want my money back. Anyway, you come here and you find out.
But as funny as it sounds, if you solve such traumas like the first breath or
the first breath,
or the cutting of
the umbilical cord.
Yes, this could make a large difference. I recognized it by myself.
Yeah.
The time we cleared my name, Klaus Wienert, the identity. If you have stress on a very deep level with a name, with the identity, so many topics can be in that content.
Yeah. I tend not to look at a theme that a person has, but my orientation is more towards something universal that we all need to experience and go through.
This brings me to the next question, because this brings the next question to my mind. Because since I know you and the NICE system, you're talking about kind of, these are universal principles you're finding with the NICE work. In a way, every person is in a way the same from the kind of problems or how the body is going in fight and flight, and how you can get it out of fight and flight, and how this makes the foundation of every other system. So sometimes it's a bit hard to understand because people think, oh, we are so different. But in a way, in a very deep way, on a cellular system, on a nervous system, energetic system, we are more similar than we think.
Yes.
So your idea about this?
Yeah. When you have a stress in some way, shape or form, like of an emotional nature, that could lead to many issues or many themes. And yes, you can address each individual theme, but if you correct the underlying emotional stress, you'll tend to take care of more themes simultaneously.
So you mentioned in a way the NICE system is a contextual system. It's not with 100 things here and there and you can address this and that topic. You go to the basic things, like constellation work. You check the basic constellation of family, you know the work, and so these systems fit together in a way, even if they are very different.
Yeah, in a funny kind of way, you could almost look at the NICE work as body constellation.
Body constellation, okay.
That could be a new name.
Yeah.
Someone wants to take it and run with it. Because you're getting all these components in the body communicating with each other more harmoniously. Hadn't thought about that.
The working tool is the muscle testing in NICE, in a way. Not the only one, but it is a system in the world of kinesiology. Kinesiology is one word for a lot of very, very different systems.
Yeah.
What is your idea about muscle testing and kinesiology and...
Okay. It's my orientation towards the term kinesiology is probably a little bit different to most. I tend to look at the word kinesiology with regard to its Greek roots. The study of movement. Simple as that. And movement, if you like to think of it, can occur in so many different contexts, in so many different ways. You can have like so many different, it's like different religions with regard to kinesiology. I don't think one is any more right or wrong than another. Each component or each discipline of kinesiology out there represents a particular person or group's orientation in their understanding and their evolution of a lot of these ideas. And a lot of these components developed from applied kinesiology originally with George Goodhart. Then John T. kind of went off and did his thing with Touch for Health, and Daniel and Gordon with the 3-in-1 work. They did their little thing and put their little thing on it. And people out there that have gotten very good results with 3-in-1 and Touch for Health. saw a video of John Thie once doing his thing, and he was so elegant. Like, to watch his communication was so spot on and didn't waste any time. And it didn't look like he was racing, but he kind of did the whole thing in a few minutes. I was like, my God, that's amazing. So he only did Touch for Health 1, and nothing would surprise me what people can still get out of just Touch for Health 1 and nothing else.
Yes.
With good communication skills,
Without him, we wouldn't sit here.
Yeah.
And I had the chance to lie on the bench while he was treating me while a seminar.
Oh, okay.
I said, yes, me, and he took 5 person, and I was very fast on the flip chart and wrote my name on it. The last class he gave in Germany, and from the 14 muscle tests, he found 13 weak. And I just had to do one movement metaphor for the psoas, and after that everything was really strong. So yeah, he was playing around with the techniques, and he was really testing with pressure, but with such a fine feeling. I was so glad to have the chance get tested by him.
Yeah.
Peter, what would you like to let the viewers know, if it's about nice, if it's about they can learn the system? For what kind of person would it be a profit to learn it or to get a session from?
Well, everyone could benefit from getting a session from the nice work. Regarding who it's for, it's so broad. If you're wanting to take care of aches and pains like many traditional medically related practitioners out there, it can be very helpful. Some people get tired of hearing people complain about their aches and pains. Okay, that's fine. And it's like, if someone then isn't worried about aches and pains, it's like, I'm a sportsman and I do this and I want to be able to do it much better. You know, I want more of this, I want better stamina, more strength. Can you help me? It's like, you're going to become better? Great, fine, you're in the right place. Or it could be a musician. It's like, well, I'm playing, I play okay, but I really want to play better. I want to get those really difficult passages to sound so easy. So,
in a way, it would be for everyone to do the next steps in life.
Yeah.
I have the chance every time, if you're here, to lie on the bench and you say, okay, bits and pieces we can do for you, and it's not about pain or some problems, but your idea is, okay, how can we bring the system of this person to the next level, that he can grow, that he can experience life in a more broad way, or I don't know how to say it, but what is your idea about that?
I'm really trying to figure that one out. Most people generally come to see a practitioner if there's an ache or a pain.
Yes.
And I haven't figured a way to get out of that just yet. But there are so many people out there that have so much to offer, like with sports or any of the performing arts, that could perform much better than what they are. And I've got to figure out a way to get to their unconscious. But then again, I've been so used to looking at people with an ache or a pain, and this is a problem, that's a problem, and my headspace, unfortunately, is still a little bit there. So I don't know how to get out of that, even for myself, and look at people that want to improve themselves.
But also it can help pupils or students or children while they're learning or in school? Or
Yeah, we even had a couple of people after going through some of the basic work, they could meditate much more easily at deeper levels, and it's like, ooh, that's interesting. But once again, that's even something a little bit further than wanting to improve in a sport or a performing art. Like, to go deeper, it's like...
I'm trying to give my students or other people the message that kinesiology in all the systems is not only to fix problems. It's more than if you have a good life, to make it more stable or to make it from good to better. Because the circumstance in our world, the challenges are growing. And we have to be more stable. I think it's very, very important to get our system stable, that we are every time 1 point higher than the circumstance. And sometimes it's different, but then we have the chance to go back in this stability. And therefore, the NICE system is the foundation, in a way, on a nervous system level.
Yeah, I think that's true.
In our program, there was the sentence, everybody on this planet should get the chance to get some NICE sessions.
Well, actually...
just as a basic.
I thought some time ago, I don't know how I do it now, because the world is going a little bit funny or crazy. I thought if you could take the leadership of the world, like in government, the various bureaucracies, corporations, and like you work on those people to get them functioning at a higher level. That could be enough to start making quite deep changes within the world generally. Not quite sure how to bring that about, but I think it'd be a great idea.
Or in other words, if you see in the world, nearly everyone is in a way in fight and flight. And what happens in politics or other systems, TV, there's so much fight and flight.
Yeah.
And some people find this interesting. And you can earn a lot of money with this, but...
Doesn't make the world a better place.
No, but it would be much more calm and peaceful and we can only change ourselves.
That's true.
Everyone has to find his own decision.
Yeah. Very true.
So what are your next plans in the content of NICE? What is important for you?
Well, with regard to NICE, I need to write a couple of books.
Oh, a couple of books.
Well, I don't know how many. Sometimes the first book is the hardest to write and the second book is much easier. So I thought, maybe I'll start with the second book first.
Yeah, the third one.
I don't know.
But that's the same like the NICE corrections. You have to do the first one and then the second one.
Yeah. Doesn't work if you start the second or third one. You've got to do the first one first. I want to get some kind of documentation, but by the same token, I'd like to get people doing the NICE work to think a little bit more universally. It's like, for example, when you look at the acupuncture points, each acupuncture point is a doorway into something. It's like, I haven't explored that just yet, but it's like, I've got to explore that. And then we all speak, or most of us speak, use words, sounds, and words and sounds can vibrate something inherent in the body. And if there's a stress there, there'll be a gate pattern, and it's like, oh, you can go in and start clearing more subtleties. When you start exploring, like with sound, vibration, you can start exploring. That's universal. That's not NICE, and it doesn't belong to any other system, and no one else can use sound or the acupuncture points. It's like these are universal things, and as you become aware of the universality of these things, you've got the tools to work with them with nice. You can use other things if you like, but I'm not aware of other systems being able to address the gate system like the nice does. You can use an indicator muscle, you can use the gate, you can use other things as well.
Now I have to ask, what is a gate system? In short words.
Well, it's basically a system that allows us to walk.
And if someone is in a gate, what does it mean?
It means there's something affecting there's some stress or trauma there that's interfering with our ability to walk normally. It's not like a big difference or change. It might be just a little difference here, but it's enough to make movement or walking inefficient.
So in a way, to imagine it is like the body is locked in this or that pattern in a way. So with one movement, it's a bit harder than the other side.
Yeah.
And this has a lot of effects in the whole system.
Yeah.
Okay.
The difference may not be very big, and for some people it has to be big for them to notice it, and it's like, oh, there's a problem there. But some people recognise when there's a subtle difference there, and it's like, I need to get this addressed.
The last words in this interview, what would be important for you? May I ask you something I forgot to ask, or would you like to tell some personal ideas about you or your life or nice?
Oh, gee. Well, my orientation is still essentially to help others. And at the end of the day, if you end up doing that, like helping others, right, yes, you can do the nice, but there's other things you can do to help people. And I think that will go a long way towards helping this world. But I'm a little bit, how can I put it, bias and prejudice. I think the nice is a really good way of doing that, but
yes, it is.
I can't expect everyone to do nice.
I would not sit here if I wouldn't have made that experiences in my first class, 1999, and in my first single session with you. So many things changed, and not only in the first one. And I've seen so many students as I was teaching, as you were teaching, and I appreciate very much that we have someone like you here. I think I said it in the last class. Usually there should be hundreds of students in your classes. We'll see where it's growing to.
Yeah.
You're fine with it, I'm fine with it, but I think...
in the future, yes, it'll be easier to look at larger numbers of people. I've got to figure out ways to do some things more efficiently. That's the way things. But looking at the NOT work and the NICE work, when I look at you over the last, 25 years or so, you've actually come a long way. I remember your small clinic when I first came to München, and now you've got these much bigger premises and you've got a lot more people involved here. It's like, you changed quite a bit.
Oh, little.
Okay.
Thank you for your help in my life, for your guidance in my life. Thanks that I met you, and I hope we can bring out in the world a lot of more good things.
Yeah, I think the time's right for it now.
Okay. Thank you, Peter.
Pleasure.
Thanks for watching or listening. Bye-bye. See you next time.
Glad to be here.